In my last video, I provided a brief overview of exactly what Project 2025 is and who is backing it. Within Project 2025, there are a total of 316 policies throughout 30 for agencies that are set to be implemented. At the current moment, 114 of these have been completed, with 60 for currently in progress. To track the progress of these policies, you can do so online. Just Google Project 2025 Tracker for up-to-date information. So, originally, I was going to cover all policies, and if this is something you guys want, let me know, and I might make a separate video for that. But for now, I'm going to just point out ones that most citizens can recognize and relate to, along with the current status. So, let's begin. Prohibit USAID from funding sexual reproductive health and reproductive rights and gender equality programs. Completed February 26, 25, reduce international disaster assistance funding for programs in Yemen, Syria, and Afghanistan. Note, Trump has cut foreign aid across the board, has blocked food aid to Yemen and Afghanistan. Completed the 2nd of February 25 Revocatio 14,020, which established the Gender Policy Council. Completed January 19, 25. Cut off government contracts to entities that enforce a woke agenda. Completed January 19, 25. Reinstate Trump's Migratory Bird Treaty Act. Companies will not be punished for killing migratory birds. The department suspended Biden-era migratory bird protections. Completed February 27, 25. Reinstate Trump's limitations on the Endangered Species Act's definition of critical habitat. Note, the administration has proposed to rescind the ESA regulation that prohibits harm to endangered species habitat. In progress. Immediately end any policy investigations or cases that run contrary to administration policies. Completed January 19, 25. Prohibit the U.S. government from combating the spread of misinformation and disinformation. Completed January 19, 25. Cut off Department of Justice grants to states and localities that do not cooperate with Trump's immigration plans. In progress, classify educators and public librarians who discuss transgender ideology with minors as sex offenders. Not started. Enforce the Comstock Act. The Comstock Act, passed in 1873, banned the mailing of obscene publications, contraceptives, and abortion-related items. The Comstock Act prohibits the use of the mail and common carriers such as Today's, UPS, and FedEx to transport all medications and obstetrical supplies used in abortion care. Doctors and providers face up to 5 years in prison for one violation of the law and up to 10 years for each subsequent violation. Not started. Eliminate the Office of Environmental Justice and External Civil Rights. Completed the 5th of February 25. Stop all grants to advocacy groups. Note, grants to programs like climate pollution reduction grants, recycling education, and outreach have been frozen. Completed the 2nd of February 25. Eliminate the Office of Children's Health Protection. Not started. Reverse policies that allow transgender individuals to serve in the military. Note, the Supreme Court allowed Trump to enforce the trans-military ban while litigation is ongoing. Completed the 7th of May 25. Prohibit abortion travel funding. Completed January 30th 25. Abolish DEI offices in the Defense Department and military. Completed January 27th 2025. Require all schools that receive federal funding to give students the military entrance test. Not started. Stop federal funding of NPR and PBS. In progress. Eliminate the Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. Completed March 20th, 2025. Increase use of civil search warrants for workplace raids. Completed January 22nd, 2025. Prohibit the flying of symbols such as the rainbow flag or the Black Lives Matter flag at U.S. embassies. Completed January 23, 2025. Dismantle USAGM's journalism firewall to align its reporting with the aims of the president. Completed February 27, 2025. Rescind Biden-era guidance that added a non-binary option in civil rights data collected from schools. Note, achieved by issuing an executive order declaring it is federal policy that there are only two genders, male and female. Completed January 19, 2025, rescind the Biden-era Title X rules that strengthen the ability to prosecute sexual assault and discrimination cases. Completed January 30th, 2025, issue rules and guidance that sex is properly understood as a fixed biological fact. Completed January 19th, 2025. Cut off federal funds to states, cities, counties, school boards, principals, and teachers who disagree with parental rights. Not started transition Title I funding to no strings block grants and Eventu. Ally phase out the program entirely. Title I provides federal funding to schools serving low-income children. Not started eliminate them. Gear Up program provides low-income middle and high school students with academic assistance. Not started break up the Department of Education. No. Trump signed an executive order directing the dismantling of the department. In progress. Rollback student loan forgiveness and income-driven repayment plans. Completed July 3, 2025, terminate the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. In progress, enact a two-income tax bracket system would raise taxes by $3,000 for the median. Family of for not started reduce corporate income tax rate. No. Reconciliation bill. Permanently lowers corporate tax rate to 21%. 2025 agenda calls for 18%. In progress. Close the Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. Treat the participation in any day initiative as per se grounds for termination. This is partially blocked by court orders. In progress, eliminate the Head Start program. Not started create and promote a research agenda that supports pro-life policies and explores the harms of abortion. Not started enforce the Hyde Amendment, banning any federal funds from being used for abortions, abortion counseling, etc. Completed January 23, 2025. And taxpayer funding of Planned Parenthood. Note the administration is withholding tens of millions of dollars from Planned Parenthood clinics. In progress, rescind guidance that requires hospitals to perform an abortion to save a woman's life. Note the administration rescinded guidance requiring hospitals to provide abortions to women in medical emergencies. Completed June 2, 2025, eliminate the ACAS requirement to cover the morning after pill. Not started. Eliminate the HHS Reproductive Health Care Access Task Force and install a pro-life task force. No. Trump dismantled the Reproductive Health Care Access Task Force. In progress, prohibit family planning grants from going to entities that perform abortions or provide funding to other entities that perform abortions. Not started withdrawal of Biden-era guidance that retail pharmacies must dispense abortion medication and contraception. Not started withdraw Biden-era guidance that strengthened HIPAA protections for reproductive health care. Completed June 17, 2025. Rescind Executive Order 11,246 Equal Opportunity Employment. Completed January 23, 2025, issue an order protecting religious employers and employees, clarifying that they may make employment decisions based on religion. Not started lessen child labor regulations to allow teenage workers to work inherently dangerous jobs. Not started let companies stop paying overtime and allow states to opt out of federal overtime and minimum wage laws. Not started reduce federal incentives for states to expand Medicaid coverage. Completed July 3, 2025. Impose Medicaid work requirements. Completed July 3, 2025. Impose time limits on how long low-income people can receive Medicaid in their lifetime. Not started weaken regulations on baby formula. Not started repeal the federal mandate to label genetically engineered food. Not started impose stricter work requirements on SNAP. Completed July 3, 2025. Restrict the Low-Income Heat and Energy Assistance Program LIHEAP. Completed July 3, 2025. Impose time limits for residents in tenant-based and project-based assistance programs. Not started. Fund studies into the risks and complications of abortion. Not started cut funds to states that do not provide detailed abortion reports. Not started abolish the Federal Reserve and move to a free banking system. Not started reverse FDA approval of mifepristone abortion pill or ban telehealth prescriptions and mailing of mifepristone. Not started end cash grants to small businesses includes disaster aid. Not started allow previously prohibited religious entities to receive SBA loans. Not started. As previously stated, these are only some of the objectives given for the departments. If enough people request it, I will give a full video of all objectives. My next videos will go over exactly what this Agenda 2025 project would look like for each state. So every day, I will post a different state and how they will be directly impacted. See you guys soon and stay informed.